Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the final session in the RIC Connect webinar series for 2025. This one is called MTAS Services to Tennessee Municipalities. For those of us who don't know us, the MTAS Research and Information Center, or RIC, R-I-C, is made up of myself, Lindy Wibking. My co-host today, one of my co-hosts, is Frances Adams O'Brien. And Desiree Eldridge is another librarian here in the RIC. She's going to keep an eye on things on the back end for us and keep the session running smoothly today. As a reminder, the session is being recorded, so we'll share that out to the MTAS YouTube page. If you have any questions during this session, please use the Q&A feature rather than the chat, if you would. We'll address questions at the end of the session, time permitting. If there isn't time, then we'll follow up with you through email after the session. To get to the Q&A, you should see a toolbar at the bottom of your Zoom screen with an icon that looks like a question mark, and it'll say Q&A. So you can just open that and put your questions there. You might have to click the More button in your toolbar to expand it, and then see the Q&A icon. If you have an immediate need for like technical help, you can also use the Q&A for that. You could also email us at mtaslibrary@tennessee.edu, and we'll try to troubleshoot for you. To start off, here's an outline of what the session's going to cover. Again, my name is Lindy Wibking. I'm a librarian at MTAS, and I'm going to do an overview of the agency to give you an idea of who we are, where you can find us, and what services we offer. After that, I'll do a Q&A with MTAS Municipal Management Consultant Warren Nevad. Warren has been with MTAS for over 25 years now, I think. And before that, he worked as a city manager in Florida and Georgia. So he's going to share some of his experiences, answering some pre-prepared questions. But if you have additional questions for Warren, or for any of us, again, please put those into the Q&A for us. After Warren's segment, we'll hear from Frances Adams O'Brien. She's my fellow librarian in the MTAS Research and Information Center. She'll talk specifically about some of the information services and resources that MTAS can offer. And then finally, we'll wrap things up with training and development consultant Yolanda Dillard, who will tell us about all the different training programs that are available through MTAS and how you can register for those upcoming opportunities. So now that we've done introductions, at this point, I'm going to turn my camera off just to minimize distractions and maybe save some bandwidth. You're welcome to leave your video on if you'd like, or turn it off, either way. But please note that your microphones were muted automatically as you entered, and we do ask that you keep those muted just so that we don't have any feedback or accidental background noise. Okay, so again, I'm going to do the overview of MTAS. I won't give you a whole long history lesson or anything like that, but I will say to begin with that MTAS was created in 1949 by a public act of the Tennessee General Assembly. The bill was sponsored by 6 senators from across the state, and it enumerated the specific duties and goals of MTAS, stating that the agency shall be used for studies and research in municipal government, publications, educational conferences, as well as technical, consultative, and field services to municipalities in any and all matters relating to municipal government. Today, MTAS is housed within the University of Tennessee Institute for Public Service, or IPS, along with 7 other agencies. Those are all listed on the screen here, so I won't read all those off. But that's just to say that we do have sister agencies that focus on different things. We all work together toward the overall IPS goal of serving businesses and government to improve the lives of Tennesseans. There are around 50 of us right now at MTAS. I think we've got a couple of positions not filled at the moment, but at full capacity, I think it's 50 or 51 FTEs. So this is a photo of most of us from the 2025 IPS annual conference last month. I think we're missing a couple of folks, but we've got all of our consultants for the most part and behind the scenes staff as well here in this photo. In terms of where we're located, we have MTAS offices all across the state. They're listed here, all the way up. I think Johnson City, I guess, is probably the farthest east, and then all the way over to Memphis in the west. Francis, Desiree, and I, the librarians in the Research and Information Center, we're all based in Knoxville. Warren is based in Knoxville, but he does a lot of his work out in the field in cities and towns in Middle and East Tennessee. And then Yolanda is based in Memphis, but she does a fair amount of traveling to other cities as well. Within MTAS, staff are grouped into different teams. The municipal management consultants include Warren Nevad, so I'll leave it mostly to him to talk about his work. I will say that the municipal management consultants are often the first stop for someone who reaches out to MTAS for help. If they're not exactly sure who to talk to, a lot of times the management consultants are the first stop because they're sort of generalists. They come from backgrounds in municipal government, most of them having worked either as a city manager or administrator or some other closely related administrative role. So they have a wide range of knowledge without being, specialists in a more technical area. For that kind of thing, we have technical consultants who cover different subject areas, which I'll discuss more in a moment. And then we have the three librarians, Francis, Desiree, and myself in the Research and Information Center. Francis will talk a little more about what we do later on. And then finally, there's the training and development team, which Yolanda will discuss toward the end of the webinar. So what do we do at MTAS? It's sort of a three-pronged approach. We do consulting. This is a photo from the archives, so we don't look like this anymore, really, but we've been doing consulting work for a while now. We do research. We do have print materials to some degree, although most of our research and information services are done electronically at this point, of course. And then we offer training to Tennessee cities and towns. So I'm going to run through some additional, a little more specific examples of ways that MTAS consultants can work with you. We've got finance consultants who can help with the effective management of available fiscal resources and the development of potential new revenue sources. They can help with things like establishing a budget calendar and answering questions about other finance-related issues like debt service and purchasing. And then we have HR consultants who can review personnel policies. They can help you write job descriptions or offer advice on handling workplace issues like dealing with conflict in the workplace. So that was Eric Spencer, the head of our finance team. And there we've got Betsy Cunningham, HR consultant out in the field there. Our legal and codes team can help you navigate the legal complexities of the municipal environment. Legal consultants will give their opinions on questions like, whether a municipal property transaction is appropriate in terms of the public purpose doctrine, or, can a city expand the number of hours for beer sales, or is a Facebook post alone adequate public notice for a meeting? Things like that. They can also help you draft ordinances or revise your charter. And then we also have a municipal court specialist who can consult on matters related to, of course, municipal courts specifically. And then we also have codification specialists who produce new codes and revisions and compile updates of existing codes for cities. And here we've got our municipal court specialist, John Eskew, and legal consultant, head of the legal team, Ab Oglesby, in action presenting at a recent conference. In the area of public safety, we have former police officers and firefighters who now serve as consultants. They can, excuse me, they can assist departments with things like where to build a fire station and how to develop a police training manual, along with the other things listed here. And then we've got public works and public utilities consultants. They can help with things like utility rate studies or advising on infrastructure maintenance problems. They can conduct departmental reviews. They can help you prepare bid packages. They can do all kinds of things for you. This is actually a former public works consultant, Brett Ward. I need to update this picture, but yeah, our public works consultants can help you with all kinds of things out in the field. Here's actually a picture of Yolanda, who visited with the wastewater treatment plant. So again, MTAS employees don't just work out of our offices. We are more than happy to come to you where you are as well. And then we have our management consultants who can do all kinds of different things. I won't run through the examples here on the screen, but they help in a lot of different ways. When I say that they're more generalists, that's certainly not an insult. That's a good thing, and they can be your first stop when you're seeking assistance from MTAS. And to talk a little bit more about consulting work, I'm going to turn now to Warren Nevad. Here's a photo of Warren presenting at a training session, and we're going to do a quick interview about his work as an MTAS management consultant. So, Warren, are you ready to talk about management consulting?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Glad to be here.
All right, excellent. So I've got some prepared questions for you, Warren. Folks listening, if you have questions for Warren, please, again, put those into the Q&A and we'll look at those at the end, time permitting. And then if you'll include your name and email, we can follow up with you offline if needed. Okay, so first question for Warren. Please tell us a little about your background working in government before MTAS, and then if you could tell us what a typical day of work is like at MTAS.
Well, my background before working at MTAS included working for a couple cities in South Florida. I earned a master's degree at Florida Atlantic when I worked in 2 cities over there. Then after about 7 years in Florida, I took a job in Gwinnett County, Georgia, Metro Atlanta, as a city manager. I was a golden boy back then. I was like 30 years old when I was hired, and they chewed me up and spit me out after about 5 years. But it was a great run, and it's a good learning experience. And these adventures helped prepare me to be a consultant. Where a typical day, I'm responsible for about 40 cities in a territory. So a typical day for me is when I wake up, and I don't work 9 to 5. The clock means really nothing to me when I work, except if I have an appointment or something. But so I'll check my messages in the morning and always try and return messages within 24 hours wherever I am, phone call, email, or anything, because with technology, people expect quick answers. So you always want to be available, and it's easier now thanks to technology. So during my typical day, I get in my vehicle and drive to a county in my territory, say like Morgan County, and hit Sunbright, Wartburg, and Oakdale, and just kind of come in, let them know that I'm thinking of them and not pushing anything, but just trying to keep the conversation going and let them know what's happening and so forth. So that's what's really nice about my typical day at MTAS is I really don't know what it's going to look like a lot of times, but no 2 days are alike. Some days you'll get inundated with phone calls or emails. Usually they're on a Friday before a council meeting. So it's a great job. If I had to do it all over again, I would have come to work at MTAS. Great people and great organization.
Excellent, thank you. And I'll go ahead and turn my video back on so you're not talking to a black box here. Okay, so yeah, so no 2 days are going to be quite the same, I guess. But oftentimes they do start with you literally driving out to a city and just stopping by the city hall. All right. So next up, what are some of the most common questions you receive from the cities and towns that you work with?
Well, my number one goal when I get these questions is I want to protect the city. We want to protect the city's name and image. That's very important. But the most common questions I get are purchasing related. Can we purchase this? Do we need to go out to bid? Is it sole source and so forth? So the answer I give cities is I tell them what I say, and then I say, well, check with your auditor and make sure they're okay, because they're the ones who will write you up if you have a purchasing exception. Another type of question is personnel. Can we fire this person? What kind of leave do they have, and so forth. Budgeting questions, when do we put the notice and things like that. So basic nuts and bolts questions.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Yes. So I think, I've said before, I think it's fair to say that as the management consultant, a lot of times you're sort of the first person that someone will talk to. And then if you need, more help or a deeper dive into something like HR or finance, you can work with,
Right.
your colleagues here in the technical consulting areas.
Yeah, I think of myself as a filter. I'll try and answer it. And most of the
Yep.
time I don't know the answer, but I know how to find the answer. So I check with our great team, our technical consultants or legal consultants. And so it's really, really great.
Excellent. All right. Now, this next one, what is the most memorable question or request, or one of the most memorable questions you've ever gotten from a city? You you can leave out their names if you'd like, but yeah, anything that stands out in your memory.
Well, I've had some doozies over the years, but several years ago, this small city in my territory had an election. The incumbent mayor was running against someone who had served as mayor 10 years earlier. So, it was a hostile campaign, and they went back and forth. So during election day, the incumbent mayor won. He beat the mayor who had served 10 years earlier.
Okay.
The problem was that the incumbent mayor had passed away 2 weeks earlier. So the town elected a dead man as mayor.
Oh, no.
So the city called, they were dying for an answer, no pun intended. But
Yeah, I
their
see what you did
question was,
there.
well, what do we do now? Does the person that was defeated, do they become mayor, or do we appoint somebody?
Yeah.
When do we have to have an election? So, I told them that, well, you just have the board appoint someone as mayor, and then the next regular election, the voters can elect it. That was a very
Okay.
unusual question.
Okay. Yeah. I hope so. Yeah. All right. Okay, I think this is the last one, but it's kind of a two-parter here.
Right.
So what are some of the main challenges that you see facing Tennessee city officials and staff today? And then how might MTAS help with those?
Well, this really started with COVID, but the cost of business has just skyrocketed the last 5 years compared to the previous 20 years I was at MTAS. Before COVID, things went up incrementally, 2%, 3%. Well, with COVID, we had 1 year, we had, I think, 9.5% inflation, and that's compounding. So the cost of keeping your workers, your labor, people are giving larger raises than before the incremental years. So cities have to step up to the plate and pay more if they want to keep their employees. Insurance has gone up because the value of properties have gone up. Capital costs, borrowing costs, everything's gone up. And it's like COVID kind of distorted the value of money, and rentals are up, everything's up. So MTAS, we can help by, I think, emerge more into like cost reduction consulting. There's technology now where you can look at a city's vendor files and remotely and look at what they're spending money on, looking at their contracts, saving money. So I think MTAS can help in that way by crunching numbers, having a utility rate study, having a revenue analysis. We've done those for cities before, but cities really have two options. One is let's keep our revenues the same, the tax rates the same, but our level of service is going to decrease because we're losing the employees and we can't afford to buy the new capital. Whereas if the cities say, well, we need more revenues, that will help keep up with the level of service. So they have two choices. And MTAS, you know, we're always, we'll be a shoulder for you to cry on if we need to be, and we'll crunch numbers. MTAS is the city's best friend, and I wish I had an organization like MTAS when I worked in cities in Florida and Georgia. So that's how we can help.
All right, excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much, Warren. I'm just gonna take a look at the Q&A real quick. I don't think we've got anything in the Q&A yet, so we'll move right along then. Thank you for spending some time with us today and giving us insight into a day in the life of an MTAS management consultant. I will now pass things over to Frances Adams O'Brien in the Research and Information Center. Frances?
Hey, Lindy. Thank you. Let's see now. Am I going to share my screen? I'm ready to do that.
Okay, I ended mine, so I think you should be good to go now.
Okay, hey, let's get that going. Now, here we go. Okay. You should be seeing a slide that says Research and Information Center. Is that correct? All
Yep.
right, great. Well, hello, everyone. Wasn't Warren great? Just a little fun fact, Warren and I started at MTAS at the same time or the same year, 1999. So wow, we've both been here for a while. So I've been a librarian at MTAS since 1999. And it's been my pleasure and honor to serve Tennessee municipalities alongside my fellow MTASers. And I'm happy to have a few minutes of your time to let you know how we can help as part of the MTAS service offerings. So next slide, here we go. So what we do, since the first MTAS librarian was hired in 1952, our first role at MTAS is the role of knowledge management and making sure our staff and customers have vetted and reliable information to do their jobs. We collect MTAS work products, make them available for public use, as well as managing archival work of MTAS. Examples of these material types are the reports and studies from our consultants, legal opinions from our attorneys, survey reports. Some of you out there may have answered a survey for MTAS, and thank you so much. Sample job descriptions, RFPs, agreements, and other materials produced in the service of cities and towns in Tennessee. We also purchase and curate materials for the print and electronic collections for the use of our staff and for city staff and officials. Examples of these materials are journals, articles from industry journals and magazines selected by staff for inclusion in our catalog, ebooks, and other books and electronic materials relevant to municipal government. All of these materials are available to you online via the MTAS Research Online Library, or Merlin, as we like to call it. The URL is listed below. The merlin.mtas.tennessee.edu is listed there for you. The QR code will also take you to Merlin. So check it out today. That's where you'll find all of those electronic materials and records for our print materials, which you can request easily online. You can, of course, search the general MTAS website and locate materials in Merlin as well. We do urge you to search Merlin directly, as that will give you a richer and broader search results. Additional materials are linked using subject headings and cross-references to help you find related materials that you might never have considered otherwise. And of course, if you have any questions, contact your MTAS library staff. Another thing we do is just information assistance. We're here to help you succeed in your search by providing reference services. We will guide you in where to start your search, as well as advise on how to most effectively search our collections. Or even other collections outside of MTAS, whatever it takes to get you what you need. And we can do the search for you. Our research services, the research part of our title, focus on the information needed by cities and towns that is not readily available via a simple Google search or even a search of our materials. Sometimes to find this information, you'll need to do a custom survey. We can do that for you too. Just contact us or your MTAS consultant, and we can take it from there. We'll provide our contact information on the last slide of this presentation. Just a couple of additional services that we provide, and then I'm going to wrap up my portion of this presentation. But we also do communications work for MTAS, such as publishing the MTAS quarterly newsletter, the MTAS e-news, which one just went out in September. And we also post on social media, and we send out email campaigns with information for cities, and we post job notices for municipalities on our website, and that's a free service that we provide. To finish it up and turn it over to my colleague Yolanda, I'll just say contact us anytime and we'll get you set with the information you need. And again, if we can't find the right answer for you, we'll pass you on to someone at MTAS who can. And that email address, mtaslibrary@tennessee.edu, is the best way to get a hold of us. So Yolanda, take it away.
Thanks, Frances. So Frances,
You're welcome.
advance the slides for me just to kind of keep things moving along. Good morning, everyone. I'm Yolanda Dillard. I'm the Training and Development Consultant in West Tennessee. Special thanks to the Research and Information team for this opportunity to share how MTAS supports Tennessee municipalities with our training programs. If you've ever assembled furniture before, you know that having the right tool in your toolbox makes all the difference. And training is like that toolbox. The more knowledge and skills you have, the better you can identify the right skill for the challenge that you're facing. Whether it's navigating new legislation, managing city finances, or leading a team, our programs are designed to help build your toolkit with practical knowledge and skills. Next slide. MTAS offers a variety of instructor-led and online training opportunities on a variety of subjects related to municipal government. We provide training in several different formats, either in person or face-to-face, virtual via Zoom, most likely, and then our online courses, which are available through our learning management system, CATE 24/7. All right, next slide. So we have a variety of programs, but I'll touch on these key programs. Many of you are most likely familiar with the Certified Municipal Finance Officer, CMFO. So that is an 11-course program with monthly sessions designed to meet state certification requirements. Our finance and accounting team does a great job managing that program. Once certified, you kind of come over to the CME side, where we work on continuing professional education. Through the CME program, we help certain roles meet annual training requirements. For example, utility training, CMFO, planning commissioners, and board of zoning appeals, where you have to get certain number of hours annually. We also provide flexible and relevant professional development. Our municipal leadership program, if you've been around for a while, that used to be the Municipal Management Academy. We've revamped the program. It's based on our leadership development framework, and it helps leaders build their communication, leadership, and influence skills. And then lastly, our Elected Officials Academy. We have 2 programs under this umbrella. It's the Municipal Foundations and Municipal Operations. Both cover charters, open meetings, finance, public safety, government essentials, and more. All right, next slide. So you're probably wondering, how can you access this training? Great question. The QR code on the screen will point to a sign up. We send out a weekly training email chock full of information about what's coming up on our training calendar. So that is the easiest and most direct way for you to get what's coming up. It's sent every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central, and it will be in your inbox. You can also go to MTAS training, mtastennessee.edu/training, and look at our training calendar. The training calendar shows what's coming up about 180 days out. And then you can also find the same programs, and you also can register for the programs on CATE, the Learning Management System. And then lastly, for registration assistance, CATE account assistance, you can always reach out to us at mtas_training@tennessee.edu. Next slide. And then to quote Benjamin Franklin, or to paraphrase him rather, an investment in knowledge always pays dividends. Training is a smart investment in your city's future. We would love to help you find the right training or bring a session to your city. So these are your training consultants. We have a vacancy in Middle Tennessee, but reach out to us and we will help you until we fill that vacancy. So that's it for training. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, back to Lindy.
Thank you, Yolanda. And Francis, if you'll just keep sharing and go to the next slide for me. Just keep things moving along. Thank you very much. All right, so yeah, thank you again, Yolanda. I do want to mention, as we're wrapping things up here, that we've done a couple of webinars like this earlier in the year, and those are available on the MTAS YouTube channel, which Desiree or Francis, if you'll pop that link into the chat. Those recordings cover the RIC survey service, the MTAS salary survey in more detail, and then there's also a webinar on license plate readers. We did a panel discussion on that topic and some research that MTAS has done on license plate readers. So if anyone wants to go back and watch those, you can. We'll also post this recording if you want to share it to any of your colleagues who couldn't be here today. I don't see any questions in the Q&A or in the chat unless I missed one. So we do have a few minutes here, so I'll pause. And if anyone would like to ask a question at this point, feel free to unmute yourself and you can ask a question that way. Or if you want to put anything into the Q&A or the chat, we'll be happy to take your questions. And while we're giving people just a moment, I want to say thank you again to Warren, Nevad, and to Yolanda for joining us. We hope to do some more webinars like this next year. So we hope to see some of you again. But if there are no questions, we'll go ahead and wrap things up and just thank you for your time and let you get back to your regularly scheduled workday. If you have any questions, this is where you can reach us. The MTAS library@tennessee.edu email is the best way to get in touch with the Research and Information Center, like Francis said. And from there, as she mentioned, if we can't answer your question, we'll get you connected with the person who can. So, all right, on that note, if there are no questions, we'll wrap things up. Thank you again. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.